Okay. And 1, 2, 3, go.
Welcome back to No They Shelves. I'm Michelle.
I'm Rachel.
It's a new month. November we decided to do a dark theme.
Yes.
And
First, we kicked it off hard.
Oh yeah, first book. It went hard. I kind of wanted something more dark, just because we didn't really get to do a lot of like Halloween-y, because we wanted to cover more banned books, just for the awareness, because it's important.
Yes.
So I was like, I want something dark because it's gonna be dark. It's like freaking 7 and it's dark already. I don't like daylight series.
I don't either.
But, so we did The Troop
by Nick Cutter. And this one, yeah, it was what we asked for, I guess.
Yes. Do you know when it was written?
I did not look that up.
I was just curious. Nope, 2014. Okay. Damn, okay. So I kind of have some things that tag along with at the end, just because I think they're interesting. But yes, let's get into
The Troop.
The Troop. Woo! Talk about, yes. So do you want to go over like the main characters and then kind of go into it? Or do you want to just go straight in? Okay.
Well, actually, let's just go straight in, because
Okay.
it just starts where we don't know anybody.
That's true. Okay, yeah. So, The Troop. Boy Scouts. Did not do Girl Scouts or anything like that, so...
I was a brownie for like maybe a year, and then I was like, nope, done.
No, not for me. Yeah. And mine used to Girl Scouts, but yeah, no. So, okay, yeah, so basically it starts out really interesting. It starts out with like tabloids. And, you know, like those, reminds me of like in the 90s when you saw those like flying saucer like magazine, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Which you don't really see them a lot anymore. That's kind of where it reminded me of. We're opening with that. So that kind of vibe.
Yeah. Well, that's the tame part of this book.
Yes, 100%. So it basically opens up with this guy, and he eats out a diner, basically. Eats him out of eggs, I think is what they say. Which it's like I want to say it's like kind of like a mom and pop, you know, home cooked meal. And eating them out of eggs, like that's a lot. But then he also doesn't pay and then steals like the waitress's truck.
Yeah. And then he steals a boat and gets to this island.
Yes, which is an uninhabited island in the province of Prince Edward Island, Canada.
Yes.
Flagstaff Island. I assume it's a real place.
I don't know about the island itself, but Prince Edward Island is
Okay.
a real place.
Okay.
It's where Anne of Green Gables is set, too.
Oh, okay.
That's why it was mentioned, like, a couple times in here.
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah. I agree, yeah. So it kind of starts out with a tabloid and the guy that just can't get enough to eat. And then it kind of cuts to the island.
Yeah.
With the Tim, who is the scoutmaster of the Boy Scout Troop 52, which I don't know if that's important to Boy Scouts at all, but it was not important to the book.
Yeah.
It was because some of the news clippings later on kind of mention the Troop 52 because, yeah.
Well, we get this story, and then we get little, like, news snippets and, like, interviews, I guess.
Yeah, interviews with people that were not named because, you know, government.
Yes.
Just, it was a Q&A section, and it was literally A was answering, and Q was... and I'm like, okay. Which I kind of get to the air of mysterious, you know?
Yes.
So basically, yes, he steals a boat, and it happens upon... he sees a light. He just steals the boat and sees a light, and he's like, I'm gonna go towards that. And then it kind of opens up with Tim, the scoutmaster. He's also a general practitioner, the only one on the small island before you get to this island, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from what I gathered, they live in kind of like a small town, and then they are off the mainland.
Yes. So then it's 5 14-year-old boys that they the Scoutmaster basically was like, to earn whatever badge they're earning, they go to this island.
And this is their final year.
Yes.
In Scouts.
Which I didn't realize that. Anyways.
I don't know how Boy Scouts work.
I
just know it's a thing.
Yes. So we kind of meet them in like pieces. So I don't really feel like we get to know all of them until maybe a couple chapters in.
Yeah.
But it's Max, Abram, Ephraim. Yeah, that one's gonna fuck me up every time. They call him EEF. And then Kent, Newton, and Shelley are the 4 Boy Scouts, 14-year-old
We
boys.
have Kent, Ephraim, Max, Shelley, Newton. We have 5.
Yes, 5.
Yeah, you said 4.
Oh,
I was like, are we missing somebody? Because there was 5, definitely.
Yes, sorry. 5 boys. And then Tim, the Scoutmaster, and then this Anomaly, which we don't really get to know his name until, I want to say about halfway or maybe like 30% into the book.
Yeah.
Is where you're supposed to pick up the pieces. For ease, we're going to call him Tom, because that's his name. So we have Tim, the Scoutmaster, and then Tom.
I just referred to him as the man. I forgot what his name was.
Yes.
Like, it's important, but it's not important.
Yeah, it's patient 0, basically. And so, obviously, Tim is like, okay, well, I'll figure out what's wrong with you, because you look sick, brother.
Yeah, because this guy shows up, and he's, like, emaciated, and he just looks like death, and he's hungry, and he's like, okay, well, I'll help you, but I don't want the boys to see you at all.
Which I think is a smart move on his part. So he basically feeds him, and then the man, patient 0, kind of throws a conniption, when he sees the radio. And it kind of talks about it in the book where Tim was like, I don't want this fucking radio. We don't need people. And, it becomes their lifeline for like 2 seconds.
Yes.
Because the man, sees it and kind of freaks out because we're supposed to assume he escaped somewhere.
Yes. And also during this time, Kent is kind of like, you kind of get to know the boys a little bit.
Yes.
And Kent is kind of the leader of this group,
Yeah.
kind of. So he's pushing back against authority. So instead of Scoutmaster Tim, he calls him Tim.
Yeah. Trying to push his boundaries a little bit.
And he tries to get out of the room while Tim and the guy is like struggling against each other.
Yeah.
And the man is coughing up phlegm, grossness.
Yeah. That's yeah.
This is a very like
Dark, dirty, nitty gritty.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very descriptive on gross
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Which will come into my rating later. Anyways, so yes. So he destroys the radio. And so basically Tim has to kind of tie him down and sedate him, just because he's causing so much of a ruckus. So in between that, he sped up that gross whatever stuff, and it landed on Tim's cheek. And he kind of, like brushes it off, and he still feels like it's still there, like he's not clean now.
Yeah.
And this is where it all goes downhill. We're only like, I want to say maybe 10% into the book at this point.
Yeah, it gets intense fast.
Very, very fast. So Tim doesn't obviously know what's wrong with him, but he knows it might be contagious. And this is where he starts to...
He kind of kicks the boys out of the
Yeah.
cab. He's like, go.
You're supposed to hike today, right? Or, just fucking go.
Here's your food. Go.
Yeah.
Because the night before, Tim has eaten all the food out of the house except for this cooler.
Yes. Yes. So they were only on the island for the weekend. So they got dropped off on a Friday, and then they were supposed to be picked back up, I think Sunday evening or Monday morning. I'm a little hazy on that, sorry. But the man comes, and then we're at the point where Tim feels like he's getting sick, and he's trying to contain the situation as best he can. With, Kent, who is very... I'm a teenager at this point. I don't want to, follow your rules. Yeah. I do kind of want to mention Kent's dad is the chief of police, where they live. And that's kind of where Tim gets his, I can kind of...
Leader
mentality. Yes. Thank you. I was like, I didn't know where I was going with that. Moving on.
He thinks he's the leader regardless of if he is or not.
Yes. He's also physically the largest of the group, of the boys at least. Obviously, not the adults.
As far as, muscles go.
Yes.
Because Newt is more of a bigger
Yes, he's
kid.
A little bit more pudgy. I think... What's his name? Ephraim?
Ephraim.
He's kind of the same, where he's really big, built big. But... and then you have Shelley, who is just kind of... Nothing interests him.
He's a little weirdo.
Yeah. And then you kind of have Max, who is just kind of... I want to say kind of the character that kind of blends in the background.
He's kind of your everyday, 14-year-old.
Yeah.
He's just, the implant of, this kid's, a good kid.
Yeah.
He's just kind of there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think... we get to... There's part 1, part 2, and I think... 3. So it's 50 chapters long. So we're still in part 1. So the next morning, Tim still doesn't know what's wrong, but he feels hungry. And I think he lost 10 pounds within that first day after he got infected from the saliva, which is a carrier for most infectious disease, if you didn't know. Sorry.
That, blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anything really.
Any kind of, liquidy substance that comes from your body.
Yes. I just wanted you to know, some people don't know. So he sends the boys, they kind of do their tracking, or I don't know what bags they were going for. They didn't say.
I think they were just hiking in the...
Yeah. So they come back, and this is when Tim is like, okay, Max, since his dad, I think Max's dad was the coroner.
Yeah.
Since he feels like he could help him the best, he's like, let's do surgery
on this guy and see what's wrong with him.
I don't understand this part of being a general practitioner or doctor, and you're just like, yeah, let's just cut him off.
Well, I think it had to do a lot with his brain, brain at this point, because we'll find out what's happening in a second. But he's also going through oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? It's kind of a back and forth.
Yeah. I feel like this book does a lot of that, where you feel morally obligated to do one thing, and then you survival, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, because the Boy Scouts is all about helping, and that's one, it's kind of like different POVs. It doesn't really tell you whose POV you're getting into, but you just kind of have to pick up the clues. You're like, oh, well, this is this boy. So that's kind of a lot in the book.
Yes. This one, I will say, was clearer when the POV switched.
Yes.
Than some of our previous books.
100%. Because it's mostly on chapter endings.
Yes.
Or beginnings, basically. I feel like that was kind of important to throw out. Sorry. So Tim's like, we're going to cut him open. Because he sees something moving in his... That's what it was. He sees something moving in his intestines. And he thinks... worms is a very big one on their island. I guess in some places it would be more common than others. So that's what his thoughts went to, where there was something inside his intestines, and that's why he's like, well, there's obviously something distressing him, and we can't call. We're not going to have anyone pick us up for a couple more days. He needs to do something or this man's going to die, period.
Yeah. Because this guy is, wasting away, as they're looking at him.
Yes. So... This is when it's like, ugh, okay. So some shit happens, he cuts him open. And these white protruding things come out where he cut, and there was a struggle, and so a tapeworm comes out and strangles the patient Zero.
Yes. It was very much like the face hugger from Alien.
Yes.
Is what I pictured from this.
It kind of just protruded out and strangled him, and Max and Tim are like, what the fuck is going on?
I don't know what happened.
Yes. So Tim kind of tells the rest of the boys, because they're banging on it, because, they're hearing some sounds, and they're kind of getting an alarm, and Kent is like, open the door! Because, that's how he is. And so he kind of comes out, because he doesn't want them to go in there, obviously.
Because there's a rampant tapeworm thing.
In surgery, Max did notice some weird things in, the patient Zero's body, and that's where I'm going to leave it at the moment.
Yes.
So Tim kind of tells them...
Which I didn't pick up on until later. I was like, okay.
No, I kind of did when he said that, and then the boat wouldn't start. So yeah. So Tim kind of tells the boys, like, something's not right with me. Something definitely wasn't right with that guy, but he's dead. And this is where we kind of see Tim as an adult say, I am scared.
Yeah.
And the boys, I don't take very well to that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think they know the gravity of the situation.
Yes.
Like, Max has seen...
Yeah, Max kind of understands. Ken just wants to take control of the situation, because that's what he born to do, or...
It's what he's been taught to do.
Yes. Shelley's just... We don't talk about Shelley.
Yeah, Shelley. We're gonna get into Shelley.
Oh, yes. I'm excited. Okay. So, they're all kind of freaking out. And this is when Tim lets on that, hey, I think I might be infected. And so Kent was like, we're just gonna stuff you in a closet.
Yeah. And then...
Okay, right.
Freaking Shelley comes back later and he tapes up the
door. Under the door. Yeah. So that's part one. Yes. I didn't really honestly think this book was going to be as fast-paced as it was. Until after this, I was like, oh shit. Okay,
Yeah.
some stuff's going on. Okay. So they lock Tim in to whatever. And this is where Kent, thinking he's an adult, decided to take a sip of the flask that Tim had. Yeah, we're just gonna leave that there for a moment.
There were a lot of instances where I was like, okay, is this person infected because of this, from what they did?
Yes.
Or are they not?
Yes. I think the book does a really good job of keeping you guessing on that part, because there's some parts coming up where, yeah. I want to get into it, so I don't mean to go very fast, but I'm excited to talk about some of the things that happen, because, yes. Okay, so the next morning, they realize all their food's gone.
Yes.
And they don't know who did it. And so...
Well, most of them don't know who did it.
Shelley happened to witness who devoured all their food and kept it in his pocket until the right moment, or for the right moment to reveal it for the most catastrophic damage.
Yeah. Shelley's a little lurker. Like, he's in the background of everything.
Yeah. Anyway. If you can't guess already, Kent was the one that ate all the food, because he got infected from sipping the whiskey from Tim, which, saliva, again, don't drink after others in a situation where you're uncertain of what the fuck is going on.
I will say, most of the time, alcohol kills most things. But...
I didn't honestly think of that. Fuck you.
But in this situation,
yes.
I know I didn't.
Yes. Yeah, and that kind of makes sense as we kind of get the bread crumbs from the Q&A sessions and some, I wouldn't say it's not redacted, but it's government memos? Like, what? I'm not sure what you would want to call them. So...
Because at the beginning of this one, we find out that Falstaff Island's quarantined.
Yes. Yeah.
And then...
Through outside media, we find out why no one came to pick him up when it was supposed to be time. So they try the boat, and they realize it won't turn over. They have gas in it, everything. They just don't know how the guy got to the island and why it won't work now.
Yeah.
So kind of chaos in between now and then. The boat didn't show up when it should have. And then there was a bad weather.
Yeah, there's a storm coming.
That's right after, right?
Yeah.
So yes, the boys are like, why isn't the boat here? Because I guess the guy that runs it is very like, time. And I think this is where is it the boat that comes? Or is that after this cyclone?
I think it's after the storm.
Okay. So the boat doesn't come. There is the whole point of the trip is they might have had to postpone it because of the weather, incoming weather. Well, if they would have left on time, they would have avoided the cyclone that hit. Obviously they did not because of reasons. Obviously it's quarantine. We don't understand why, or we kind of get, some indication of what's happening.
But during this, they leave Tim in the cabin. They go into like this shelter cellar.
It's a cellar, basically.
At the beginning, Ephraim's like, no, Kent can't be in here because he's infected. And then they take him out to the wood pile. And then the storm gets bad, and then they bring Kent in, and they're like, you do not touch us.
You stay in that corner. And he's like,
and they hear a tree fall on the cabin.
Yes.
And then the storm's over.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Yeah, they allow him in. He has to sit under a tarp. I mean, they're scared, and they don't understand what's going on and how he got affected, because they didn't see him drink from the flask. We as readers know that he messed up by doing that. But, so after the storm passes, they kind of leave Kent down in the cellar, and then try to figure out a game plan, basically.
So Newt has a field guidebook of like edible plants and fungus and what they can and cannot eat.
Yes.
But it's in the cabin.
It stays in that damn cabin. No.
So before they go out and scavenge for food, they all go into the cabin, and they see that Tim was crushed. His head was crushed by a tree.
Yeah, and some white thing protruding out of his body.
Yes.
That seems dead.
Yeah. Well, they start going towards the boys that talk. Except for, Kent's still in the cellar.
Yeah, he's still in the cellar. So they go by sound. Yeah, in the beginning you don't really know what the fuck's going on. Fair enough,
Yeah.
But they end up getting Newt's backpack, has the book in it, and some other supplies because he's a really good scout.
Yes.
He's the only one that took it seriously.
And Kent and Ephraim kind of fought.
Oh, yes.
Before the storm, and
before they're like, yeah, you can come in, Ephraim and just beats the shit out of Kent, really.
Yeah.
Beat down, and Ephraim is very anger prone, has bursts of anger and impulsiveness behaviors, and that was kind of one of them where he felt like Kent, I don't know how he's feeling, but he decided to beat the shit out.
Yeah.
So he bloodied all his knuckles and everything, and before they leave to go upstairs to get the book, Shelley makes a comment like, oh, no, I didn't see anything move. But did I? Fuck him!
So, after that comment,
Mm-hmm.
Shelly, like, runs off somewhere and does his Shelly things where he's killing crabs and he
torments things.
He killed his mom's cat.
By drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can't tell, Shelly's a psychopath.
Yes.
Not necessarily a bad thing. For just this specific... What he did is what pisses me off. Not that he's a psychopath in general. Because, you know, there are some psychopaths that are good. In books.
Well, mentally, you can be a psychopath and still not be like Shelly.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. So yeah. So Shelly decides to go lurk somewhere else and hide while Ephraim, Newt, and Max decide to try to find more food, basically. In hopes of trying to find some mushrooms that make you shit. That's the whole goal. They know something is not... The kids know that something is not correct. And the only thing they can think of, well, just shit it out.
Yeah.
Expel it from your body.
Well,
which is a pretty solid plan.
I mean, if people have worms, you kind of like...
If there's nothing to eat.
Yeah.
If there's nothing in there to feed on, then yes, they will leave.
Yeah.
That's their hope. So...
This is where we get to Ephraim kind of like, I'm out, I'm staying here.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like moving because he's too concentrated on what Shelly had said in the cellar.
Yes.
He keeps looking at his hands, and he feels like mentally he is more susceptible to the fear, I guess is the best part.
Yeah. Well, he thinks that he might be infected because he's like, oh, well, my knuckles are bloody, so maybe I am.
Yes.
Because they don't know how...
It's contracted.
Yes.
So that Shelly kind of throws him into a tailspin, basically. And he just can't function. He can't focus on anything besides looking at himself to make sure he doesn't see anything move. And of course, the more you stare at yourself, you're like, that moved. That wasn't normal. Like, and that kind of fear. So this is where Newt and Max are like, well, stay right here. We're going to find some food. And then Shelly happened to have a walkie-talkie, or the end of the walkie-talkie that he put into Ephraim's bag, and decides to fuck with him some more. Like... This is what I don't like.
Yeah, and then Shelly kind of convinces Ephraim to, like, cut into himself to, like, he degloves his finger, and...
I think he takes, his fingernails off because that's where he saw them, or where Shelly saw them. He messes up his entire ankle, and everything. And so he's in a bad place. So, of course, once you start cutting into the human body, he doesn't really feel the pain because he's too focused on he thinks he's infected.
Yes.
You're going to find a lot of white things that look like worms. And they're more veins. And he just starts trying to grab them thinking they're it. And he can't because they're attached to other stuff. Yeah, and that's where we're gonna leave Shelly because he's a dick.
So we're getting into the dead turtle scene too,
yes,
and so Max and Newt find this turtle.
They find some food first though, and some laxative mushrooms.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, well, we can eat a turtle, which yes, you can eat a turtle. But I did not need that whole chapter.
Oh my god!
I did not need that whole chapter.
Oh yes.
I could have skipped the turtle death.
I think it was really important for the book, but yes, I did not like it. So obviously, since they haven't had food in a couple days, they're not as hungry as Kent is. You know, the infected people start to eat basically anything.
Anything
Worms,
and everything.
yeah, like bugs, sludge, algae, anything that they deem nutritious.
I don't even think it's nutritious. I think it's
just the need to feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because while they're killing the turtle, which, oh man, that chapter.
So, okay.
There is animal death in this book. Just.
Yeah.
And it's graphic.
Yeah. Do we not want to go into the graphicness of it? I will say this. It was really horrifying, but really important to the book itself, because it really goes into the fact that a living being will try to do anything to survive, period. Yes. Even animal or human. It makes that comparison a lot between animals and humans just in the scope of this book. And that's kind of why I feel like it was kind of really important to the book. And also the two boys that killed the turtle feel really bad about this turtle. And then they save the turtle's babies. Yes. Which, you know, maybe not, since we know some more stuff going on, but we want to think they saved them. So yeah, basically they end up killing the turtle, and then they're like, yeah, I'm not hungry.
We're not gonna eat this turtle. And then they bury it.
Yeah, they bury it, and then they let the babies go. Which kind of freaks them out, because, you know, things crawling under the sand, and they're like, oh, fuck, it's infected. Yeah. Which kind of adds into the fear that they're feeling.
And then in between both these things, we cut back to each boy individually. Yes. And Kent is slowly losing his mind. Shelley is at the cabin and the cellar, messing with Kent, feeding him bugs. He fed him some of the worm.
Yeah, the worm from Patient Zero.
Yeah. And then Kent kind of comes out of the cellar because he's like, I'm gonna kill Shelley because he didn't feed me meat, like he said.
Yes. Very animalistic. So, yes, he goes to find him, and this is, so Shelley kind of just drags him into the ocean because he's going to kill him, which he does succeed in, like he killed his mom's cat, drowning him, which, in hindsight, didn't work out for Shelley like he wanted to.
Which I'm kind of glad at. This is his, like...
This is comeuppance. Yeah. No, 100%. So that ends part 2. So let's recap deaths here. We're up to 3, if you haven't been counting. Kent is number 3, and then Tim, and then Patient Zero, counting backwards.
So while Shelley is killing Kent, and he's pushing him out to sea, his scalp comes off of his skull because he's like skin and bones at this point.
Yeah.
And all the worms come into the ocean and surround Shelley, and then he's obviously infected. This is the one that's like, yes, you're infected for sure.
Yes, yeah. I feel like it's the only clear one, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes. And it goes up a hole. And that's all I'm going to say, because it happens again.
It's a downstairs hole.
Which I just find funny because, you know, yeah, it's legit. 100% correct. Okay, so we're on part 3, which is the last of the book, or the last chapter, or last part of the book. So Newt and Max find Abram. Oh my god. Covered in wounds, and to the point where I think he severed his one ankle where he can no longer walk. So they kind of have to like drag him. His one ankle was just fucked up. Like, he decided that ankle was the bad ankle, I guess. I don't know. And Ephraim and Max are best friends since, like, really young. So he tells him, Max, like, help me. Cut them out. And Max is like, okay. Can't argue with him because he's crazy at the moment. Yeah. So he tries to do, well, why don't you eat these mushrooms? And if that doesn't work, then I'll I'll help you cut some things out.
Because sure, I'll help you, but we're gonna do
We're
this
gonna
first.
do this first. But once they get to camp, they don't see Kent, and the two boys, I wouldn't say assume, hope that he decided he had the connections to swim back to shore. Fair enough. I like the optimism.
Yeah, except
for he was like almost half dead.
yeah.
But of course they don't automatically go to that because that's not.
They want to hope for the best,
Yes.
that everybody makes it out. They still don't know where Shelly is because he's...
Yeah, Shelly kind of ran off, and and then he realized that he kind of took like the weirdest point of view on the situation about being infected, which kind of makes sense because he thinks differently than
all the rest of them.
Yeah, all the rest of them. He didn't feel like it was bad. He just felt like he was their father and he needed to protect them. So in his mind, everyone's out to get him, so he has to kill everyone else first.
Yeah.
It's basically where he goes with being infected. So
Which I feel like he was going to do anyways.
Yeah. I felt like he kind of accepted the fact after he was out in the ocean and he's like, oh, this was a bad idea. And then he's like, oh, well, I think this is a great idea. Like, you know, like, I feel like he's just really adaptable in that aspect. So yes. Shelly just still kind of like not there, but there. Like, he's just a creep. I don't know.
He like comes in and out. Like, he
Yes.
hides in the woods.
He to find his right moment. So while Newt and Max are off doing something.
They're finding the spark plugs, I believe.
Yes. Yes, I think you're right. This is where Shelly convinces Abram the only way, like, cutting out won't work anymore. The only way is cleansing by fire. And he's like, oh my god, why didn't I think of that? And so he sets himself on fire, and that's when he dies.
Well, Shelly helps him set himself on fire.
Yes. He gives him the gas, but he had a lighter because Abram liked to smoke every once in a while. So as he's going up in flames, Max and Newton kind of come back through, and they take one of the sleeping bags and throw it over him, but at that point he is already dead.
Yep. And he wasn't infected, as far as we know.
Yes, he was not infected as far as we know. Just the fear and paranoia.
Yeah. Because he didn't waste away, like, the other people when they got infected.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't think he was.
Yeah.
I think it was all Shelly trying to be like, one less person I gotta fucking deal with.
I think Shelly wanted to have his fun, and, like,
he could
manipulate him.
His mask slip. He could be his true self. Which, with everything going on, more power to you, man. Okay. So after that, this is where Shelly and Max kind of get into it. They kind of fight. And I think this is where Shelly stabs Max.
Yes.
Yeah. Shoot. A little bit before this, sorry, after the cyclone, there was a boat that tried to come to the island. And we kind of know from snippets from news clippings from intermediate chapters, kind of.
Yeah.
That it was Kent's dad, chief of police, and I want to say Max's dad.
Yeah, it was Max's dad.
And they both got the shit beat out of them because the island was in quarantine. I think Max's dad's one knee was like shattered, and it was just a little too much force there. A little too much.
Yeah.
Nothing goes in and nothing comes out, is what one of the memos said. So, sorry. Not important, but kind of important because the kids don't know that their parents are trying to save them, and I feel like it's just sadder. So I want you to enjoy that with us. Okay. So Shelly's infected. I think that's the only, there's only 3 people left, right? We got Shelly, Max, and Newt. And as of we know, the other 2 are not infected. Shelly is the only infected person still alive.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going with that. Like, the worms kind of... after their death, the worms are still kind of alive and trying to find their new host kind of thing.
Yeah. So this worm is like a hybrid of a tapeworm. Mm-hmm. So in some of the memos, they're like, oh, it was a diet pill. And then you're like, oh, no, it was like a military experiment.
It was both.
It was both.
His name, Dr. Clive Egerton, was a scientist who bioengineered the tapeworm concoction, what we're calling it for now. And he was kind of double dipping. He got research funds for the diet pill because I want to say this was close to the time, probably a little too far before we got into the shots, like the Ozempic shots, the weight loss shots.
I think it was before, but...
Right, it was, I feel like this is right before, which leads into, like, I don't know.
Well, in the past, people would take tapeworms to lose weight, too, which... Don't do that.
Yes.
Just don't.
Normal tapeworms don't go anywhere besides the intestines. Since he bioengineered this, it didn't just stay to the intestinal tract.
And it was more aggressive, so it would, moves throughout your body and kind of kills you at the same time.
Yes. There was one clinical experiment notes that it went by when it first got infected, and it was more of like chimpanzees and stuff like that. And the weight loss, which just in like 15 hours was crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about a couple pounds, obviously. Talking about close to 50, 60, depending on how much extra a person might have.
Yes.
And that's kind of why it was more of a weight loss drug, because you do lose weight, and then we're supposed to have a second pill with it where it basically
gets rid of the worms.
Yeah. Obviously that didn't happen.
Obviously this is more intense than just...
Yes. And I think it was also said that it, depending on the host, it acted differently. Is that right? Like, each person that took it had a different kind of results. Like, it wasn't just the same, because obviously not all organisms are the same.
Yeah. It worked different for each like,
person,
animal.
Yes. Yes. Forget. Okay. Shelly said Max. And Max and Newton kind of go and do their own thing. Because they're like, well, fuck this guy.
Yeah, and they're trying to get the boat working to get off the island. They figure out that they need spark plugs, which were in the original man patient Zero's stomach because he ate them. They need some gas,
which was in the cellar, which they found. So yes, that's where Max's kind of insight to patient Zero, like, oh, something metal was in his body. I don't know if I would immediately think spark plugs.
No, but if you see like Kent and Tim were like eating everything, you're like, well, maybe it could be.
And patient Zero escaped, so he knew that like he was technically on the run, basically. So I think that could have been part of the reason.
Well, he escaped or was let out, depending on.
Yes, depending on. You're right. Yes. Yeah. Depending on how you want to look at it. Yes. So they decide that they're gonna try to do. I don't know if I could do this, Rachel. I don't know if I could. Decide to go get the spark plugs from the guy, and they take every precaution that they can. So they have like dish gloves, and then they put.
They basically make a makeshift hazmat suit. I'm like, put on.
Yes.
Nothing.
Yes. And so Max is the one that actually goes in and like gets in. He's like, just a cold cold oatmeal. This is like cold oatmeal. Which fair enough, I guess. I don't know. Not rooted in a dead body before. I'll, put that on my bucket list there.
Do you want to put that on your bucket list?
I mean, not in a situation where they're contaminated. No. I mean, I'm curious a little bit.
Fair enough.
Okay. So they go and surgically retrieve the spark plugs. Of course, Shelley sees that, and I don't know why he steals them. I kind of do. But, like, at the moment, you're like, what the fuck does he want the spark plugs for? It's so his babies have something to feed on. And I'm like, oh, God. Or at least that's how I took it.
Yeah, because he's going to infect the other two.
Yeah.
So there's more.
Yeah.
So they can become fathers too, as he put it.
Yeah. We're going with that, okay? Okay. So.
This book makes me itchy.
Yeah. No, 100%. Okay. So he Shelley uses those spark plugs as bait. Really. And, they don't have any other fucking choice, so they go. And this is where Newt and Max kind of have a little falling out. They just kind of beat each other up, and they're like, okay. So you didn't take the spark plugs. I didn't take the spark plugs. Fucking Shelley. Like, that's where their whole line went. They're like, you took the spark plugs? No. Did you? And then they get into a disagreement, and then they both come to the realization, like, oh, fuck, we're idiots. It was Shelley. And so they're like, well, where the fuck is Shelley? We have no idea where he fucking ran off to. And so this is where Max kind of is like, every person smelled sweet. Which, I know diabetic people do, if their sugar level is too high or too...
Well, I think it had to do with, like, kind of ketosis.
Yes, which is kind of the
yeah.
So they it's just a sweet kind of smell. So they're like, we'll use our nose. So they do end up finding Shelley, and he is in a cave. And this, I don't even want to say it. Okay. So he's like kind of like a fixture in the cave, and just decided to kaboom himself.
Well, I think the worms in his body there were so many of them that they kind of like burst out.
Yeah.
Because I kind of pictured him as like Gollum at this point. Like, he's very skinny and he just has like a very like kind of fat belly.
And I kind of took it as we watched The Arrival, that scene where it's like bolstered to the wall. That's kind of how I pictured it too. So we're kind of the same thought. Yeah. So whatever that looks like.
And worms go everywhere. And on Newt. I don't think Max gets hit, but Newt definitely does.
Yes. And they go up his pee hole too. I just find that hilarious. Because kind of Newt is kind of like, it was, like, I mean, all I can do is laugh at this point. Like, but, so he decides to take the laxatives, hoping that he took it enough in time
where they could get out of his body.
Yes.
It doesn't work.
Kind of, but not really. I think the majority of them did, but there was at least one.
Well, they produce, reproduce so fast that that's not gonna work.
Yeah. But A for effort. Okay. So they get the spark plug. Well, no. They leave the spark plugs because fucking, same. the thing exploded. And, and so they're kind of sitting on the beach. Newt takes the laxative mushrooms and thinks that they're psychedelic in some fashion as well. And this is where they kind of have the heart to heart. And he's like, I don't think we're going to make it. If you do, I want you to go. And Max
doesn't want to leave anybody else behind.
Yeah. And he kind of got into a good place with Newt because Newt was kind of the, I want to say the punching bag, but
He
more
was
of
the nerdy kid.
the nerdy kid that they made fun of. And Max kind of feels bad about that after everything said and done, because Newt is actually a really good resource. He actually paid attention, and, you know, he feels camaraderie with him with everything that's fucking happened, so he just doesn't want to leave him. And so
This is Spark Plug Mission Part 2.
Yes. So Max is like, well, we had to get spark plugs, and, you know, the you know, they're gonna save you. I mean, the adults have a cure of something, you know. And so Newt's like, don't go. It's not worth it. And I'm like, I agree with this. Just because of the fact of, like, all the worms in the cave. No. And, so, Max kind of lets Newt go to bed and decides to rescue Mission Part 2, like you said.
Yes.
And this part really creeped me out. So, like I said earlier, they're attracted to sound. So he gets, like, this emergency evac kind of, like, flare. And uses it to try to see within the cave. And is covered with a whole bunch of, like, bugs for some reason. Like beetles and stuff like that. Kind of swarmed the... I'm not sure why. So there's more than just worms, which is creepier. How I don't know. It's just creepier, okay? So he kind of goes in, and some things start touching him, like his neck, and I'm like, nope, that's enough for me. That's a nope, guys. We would die on that island. I just want to give it that. But
well, hopefully, if we were in the situation, we wouldn't have a psychopath playing mind tricks on all of us.
You never know. No. Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, no, we're gonna stay away from the worms.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would say burn that part of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Max ends up actually getting the spark plugs. And this is where we get a little bit more of a scare factor, because things touch his, like, neck and fall from the ceiling. They're just beetles.
And the flare keeps going on and off.
Oh god, that stressed me out. I'm like, get the fuck out. Get out! Oh, yes. Okay. So, he ended up getting the spark plugs. And as far as we know, not infected.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Newt's infected. Max, as far as we know, is not infected.
Yes, it is not. Okay. So, he gets back to the boat, and he convinces Newt to come with him and make it out. I think it's dark at this point.
Yes.
They make it out of the middle, or a little bit past the shoreline, and that's when they kind of notice all of the
military boats
that are, like, pitch black. Obvious for reasons, obviously. And this is where Newt gets shot in the head because he said he was hungry.
Yeah, poor Newt.
Yeah.
I hated this.
Yeah.
I hated Ephraim's death and Newt's death, and I'm like, God dang.
I felt bad for Newt.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he did what he thought he could, took the laxatives, and that's when they noticed someone right behind the eyeball, and I'm like, or in the eyeball. No. Mm-mm. Yeah. So we knew he was infected, and kind of one of the news articles in the back was questioning the guy that shot the kid, and you're like, well, why the fuck did you shoot the kid? Like, and he said one of the trigger words, that if anyone said these specific words, kill on sight. And he said that he was hungry, and that's where it kind of leads into, like, the start of the book again, where the guy was, like, eating fucking everything and still couldn't get satisfied, says they did. And then it's several months later. Max is kind of still in quarantine, but obviously he's I want to say he's fine, but he's not infected.
He's not fine mentally.
Yeah, he's not fine mentally, no. The one thing he's really upset about is the turtle. And they don't understand why that's so traumatic for him. They're like, you killed a turtle. Okay. It was traumatic, okay? You haven't been there.
It was... Oh, man.
Yeah. Anyways,
that poor turtle.
So he kind of ends up leaving quarantine, but is still kind of quarantined. He's ostracized in the community now. No one wants to touch anything he's touched. They don't want him to go to school. And
that's where it kind of ends. And then he goes back to the island.
Yes, and they blew it up.
Yeah.
That's the end of the book. Yeah.
You wanted dark.
I did. You delivered 100%.
I'm just gonna say there's darker books than this, but I knew this one was like very descriptive from what I heard.
Yes.
And it delivered on very descriptive.
Yeah. Yeah. It was one that I couldn't put down. Just because, and I'm not really one for description, especially for something like that, but I just felt like it really tied everything together. Like, you could feel the paranoia, you could feel the fear, you could feel like, oh, I might be infected too, damn. You know, like, I felt all that when I read this book.
Yes.
And, not that I wanted to, but I think it helped.
Yeah. So, I thought, when I picked this, I was like, okay, this is gonna be like a cannibal book. Okay, and it's like...
Yeah, because it did mention Lord of the Flies and 28 Days Later.
Yeah, so I thought it was going to be... like, Lord of the Flies-esque, like they were fighting to the death for survival. I did not expect tapeworm takeover.
I did not either, and that's fucking terrifying, and no joke. These are the type of books I really like, just because it's not something... like Scream, or, you know, like that sort of thing.
It's not just
it's
normal
not a
slasher.
person that you can defeat or have the chance to defeat. There was no defeating this. There's no, like, you can take every precaution and you can still end up being infected, and that shit, woo! that gets me.
Yeah.
I mean, working in the medical profession, like, I see some shit, you know, and it was close to home. So, on that, what are your ratings?
So, my overall rating is a 4-star.
Okay.
I debated on whether 3 or 4, just because some of the stuff I don't want to think about, and I'm like, did I like this enough to give it a 4, or am I just, like, traumatized that it's a 4? So I ended up at a 4.
Okay, fair enough. I gave it a 3.5 for basically the reasons you said, where it was really good. I enjoyed reading it. It was just...
yeah.
Which is great. I mean, that's what you kind of want in a book, to be able to...
Especially in a horror book.
Yeah.
You want that.
Yeah. It's been a while since I was actually scared with reading a book. And not in the sense of like, oh, I gotta, sleep with all the lights on, but more of, it's more realistic. And that shit...
It gives you the heebie-jeebies.
Ooh, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. So that leads into my scary score is a 4.
Yeah, I think I'm about a 4 for a scary score.
Yeah, it was just really descriptive. The self-mutilating part really probably got me the most, because...
It just makes you feel gross. All of it makes you feel gross.
It makes you feel like you need a very hot shower that you don't ever want to get out of. Which is great for a horror novel to do that even now. Like, with all the spoilers and all the media nowadays, it's really hard to actually find something that gives a good scare. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah. I will say, if you like The Troop, check out probably Yellow Jackets, the show.
Okay, yeah.
Lord of the Flies, obviously. It gives the same Lord of the Flies vibe.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So,
yes.
Those, if you want more of something like this, check out those two.
I feel like Arrival. No, that's not the book. What's the book name? It's not Annihilation. It's not as scary, but I feel like it kind of gives the same kind of vibes.
Yes.
Just not as scary.
Yeah.
Nothing else is scary. But yeah, I mean, you delivered. I wanted something dark, and I was like, okay.
We picked dark, and I was okay. And what's crazy is this is not as dark as, like, this is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to, like, horror novels can get more intense than this. Like, crazy more intense.
Are you holding out on me? Maybe have to do another, like, really dark one for the podcast one, because that's probably the darkest thing I've read in a while.
Like, really, really dark, or, like, this dark?
Bring it on!
Okay.
You're like, bet. I'm gonna regret this, aren't I?
Well, so far, our last theme is winter, so I can't really go too dark on those.
I mean, I can do some research and see. No, I don't know. Off the top of my head, no. But if you have any suggestions,
yes.
Our next theme for December is holiday/winter. So, okay, so our next book, since we're done with the troop,
is Abarat by Clive Barker.
And then
it's H.P. Lovecraft.
Yes.
And I had to text you this.
Yeah. That's why I take picture. I'm like, in this order. So yes, we're doing the Call of the Cthulhu and
Herbert West Reanimator.
Yes. And then maybe
The Mountains of Madness.
Should we just say yes?
Yeah,
we say it every time. We're just gonna fucking go for it.
And then our last one, our romance pick, is God of Malice.
Which I'm excited for because I hear it's very dark.
Yes, and it's a little chunker.
You can't say that, you're gonna hurt its feelings.
Listen, I like thick books.
On that note, thick books can't lie.